You don't lose your life in a single moment. You lose it in small, unnoticed pieces. Every hour you waste, every decision you delay, every day you let slip away without a plan. Your future isn't stolen from you. It's surrendered. And if you want to take it back, you must start here. You must learn to plan your day so precisely, so intentionally, that life has no choice but to bow to your direction. Your day doesn't truly begin when the alarm rings. It begins long before that moment. The first decision of your day is not whether you get up, but whether you've already decided what you're waking up for. Most people think mornings are about waking up and reacting to whatever comes. But that is how you become a slave to circumstance. If you go to bed without a plan, you're giving permission for the world to decide what your next day will look like. You'll wake up and your mind will instantly be scattered. Emails pulling you in one direction, social media feeding you distractions, and your energy being spent before you even realize it's gone. When you don't own your morning, you don't own your life. It's that simple. The difference between those who lead and those who follow often begins in the first hour of the day. The people who rise with purpose have already set the tone before they've closed their eyes the night before. They know what matters most tomorrow, and they've mentally positioned themselves to tackle it. Their mind is primed. Their energy is ready. They're not scrambling to figure out what's important. They already know. And that clarity is what allows them to hit the ground running, while everyone else is stumbling out of bed trying to wake up. If your morning starts in chaos, you spend the rest of the day in recovery mode, trying to get back on track. But if your morning starts with intention, you carry momentum forward. You can't leave your mornings to chance, because mornings are not neutral. They're either fueling you or draining you. The first moments after waking are the most valuable because your brain is clear, your body is fresh, and your willpower is at its peak. What you choose to do in that golden window sets the tone for everything that follows. If you give your best energy to aimless scrolling, you've handed over your day to other people's priorities. If you start with a precise action toward your own goals, you've taken control before the world even gets a chance to interfere. This is why those who plan their mornings carefully are consistently more productive, more focused, and more fulfilled than those who simply see where the day goes. When you start without a plan, your mind becomes a battlefield for distractions. Every ping, every notification, every tiny request feels urgent because you have no anchor. You get pulled into reacting instead of creating. But when you know exactly what you're waking up to, distractions lose their power. You stop chasing things that don't matter because your mind is locked on the mission. And here's the truth. Most of the noise you deal with every day isn't urgent, it's just loud. Without a plan, loud always wins. With a plan, important wins. That is the difference between wasting your time and building a life. Your morning is the only part of your day you have complete control over. Before the emails, before the calls, before the demands of the world. That's why it's sacred. That's why it's non-negotiable. You must protect it like your future depends on it. Because it does. This isn't about becoming a morning person. This is about becoming a person who refuses to waste their highest energy on the smallest tasks. Whether your morning starts at 5 a.m. or 9 a.m., the principle is the same. Start with the most important thing. Attack your priorities before the world has a chance to attack your focus. And understand this. Planning your morning is not about control, It's about freedom. It's about freeing yourself from the trap of waking up already behind. It's about replacing uncertainty with confidence. It's about choosing the direction of your day before the day chooses it for you. Because once you step into the chaos of the outside world, you are no longer in full control. But if you've claimed your morning, if you've locked in your focus, if you've fed your mind and your body with purpose, you walk into the rest of the day as the one in command. That is how leaders are made. Not in the spotlight, not in the big moments, but in the quiet discipline of the morning, when no one is watching and the decision is yours alone. Vague intentions produce vague outcomes. That's the unshakable truth most people avoid, because it forces them to admit their goals aren't real goals. They're just wishes. Saying, "I want to be successful," is the same as saying, "I want the weather to be nice." There's no force behind it. There's no target. The human brain is wired to chase what it can clearly see. And when the vision is blurred, so is the effort. You can't wake up with a generic dream and expect specific results. Success doesn't come to people who hope for it. It comes to those who decide exactly what it looks like, write it down, and execute until it's done. Without clarity, your energy scatters like water spilled on the floor, going everywhere and getting nowhere. Clarity is more than knowing what you want. It's knowing exactly why you want it and when you're going to have it. Without a deadline, there is no urgency. Without a reason, there is no drive. When you don't have clarity, distractions win because everything feels equally important. You waste hours on things that have no real impact because there's no hierarchy in your priorities. But when you have a crystal, clear vision, distractions lose their grip. You stop entertaining opportunities that look good on the surface, but don't align with your purpose. You stop being pulled into other people's agendas because your own is already set in stone. Clarity is the filter through which every decision should pass. If it doesn't fit your mission, it doesn't deserve your time. Every single day should begin with a small but powerful ritual defining your top 3 priorities. Not 20, not 10, not even 5, 3. This forces you to separate what's truly essential from what's just noise. Most people live in constant overwhelm because they never take the time to define their musts. They drown in endless to-do lists that leave them feeling busy but not productive. But the people who win, who get results consistently, aren't doing everything. They're doing the right things. And they guard those things with ruthless focus. This isn't about working harder. This is about working sharper. When your goals are vague, you invite procrastination. You tell yourself, "I'll get to it when I have time." But time never just appears. It gets stolen by whatever distraction shouts the loudest. Clarity creates a built-in defense against this. It gives you the ability to say, "No, this is my priority right now, and nothing else comes first." That single decision to protect your main objective will change how you use every hour. It transforms how you view interruptions, because every interruption now has a cost. Without clarity, you can't see the cost, you just let life happen to you. With clarity, you realize that every detour takes you further from your target. And once you feel the pain of losing ground on something that matters deeply to you, you stop tolerating it. Clarity also fuels motivation in a way nothing else can. It's not enough to know you should do something. You have to feel why it matters. That's what turns discipline from a burden into a weapon. When you can picture your goal vividly, see it, hear it, feel it, You no longer have to fight for motivation. It becomes automatic because your brain has been given a clear destination. Without that mental picture, work feels pointless and effort feels empty. But when every action has a direct line to your vision, you approach your day with a different energy. You're not just checking boxes. You're building something you can already see in your mind. And the truth is, clarity isn't something you find. It's something you create. It's the result of sitting down with yourself and asking hard questions. What do I really want? Why do I want it? What am I willing to sacrifice for it? What does winning look like? Specifically. Until you answer those questions, you'll keep moving in circles, chasing half-formed ideas, and wondering why nothing changes. But the moment you commit to a clear, specific, measurable target, your actions begin to align automatically. It's like setting a GPS. You stop wandering because the route is already chosen. That is the power of clarity. It makes every step count, every decision intentional, and every day a direct move toward the life you've decided is yours. Time is the most valuable currency you will ever have. Yet it's the one most people spend as if it were endless. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose opportunities and create new ones. But when you lose an hour, it's gone forever. No refund, no second chance. Every day, people say they don't have enough time, but the truth is, they do. The problem isn't the quantity, it's the quality of how they use it. You're not short on time, you're short on direction. And until you treat every hour like it's a piece of your life being traded away, you'll keep giving it to things that don't deserve it. We tell ourselves we're just relaxing when we scroll endlessly, but that's not relaxation. It's sedation. It's allowing your mind to be filled with other people's noise while your own goals sit untouched. It's pretending you have time to waste when deep down you know the clock is ticking. The dangerous thing about wasting time is that it doesn't hurt immediately. There's no alarm that goes off when you've let an hour slip away. But the damage is real and it compounds. One wasted day turns into a week. A week turns into a month. A month turns into a year of wondering where your life went. You don't lose your future in one big moment. You lose it in small, invisible thefts of your own time. That's why you have to structure your day with intention. Leaving your hours unguarded is like leaving your home unlocked and wondering why things go missing. Time is stolen in small, subtle ways. Just one more episode. Just 5 more minutes. Just one quick call. But those justs add up until the day is gone. The only way to protect yourself from this is to decide in advance what your day will look like. Break it into blocks. Work, learning, rest, movement, and guard those blocks as if someone were trying to take them from you. Because someone is. Every message, every request, every unnecessary meeting is an attempt to claim your time for someone else's benefit. And here's the truth. Most people will value your time only as much as you value it yourself. If you treat it as disposable, they will too. If you constantly say yes to things that don't serve your goals, you're training people to believe your time is up for grabs. But the moment you set boundaries, clear, unshakable boundaries, you send a message that your time is not free. You stop apologizing for protecting it. You stop feeling guilty for saying no. Because saying no to something meaningless is saying yes to something life-changing. Your time is not a public resource. It's the raw material of your future. When you start protecting your time, you discover a shift. Not just in productivity, but in identity. You stop being someone who reacts to life and become someone who directs it. You begin to see every hour as an investment, and like any smart investor, you start asking, what's the return on this? If a conversation, a task, or a meeting isn't giving you value, it's taking value away. And the price is higher than you think. Because you're not just losing the time spent, you're losing the opportunity to spend it on something that moves you forward. That's the hidden cost of wasted time. It doesn't just disappear, it steals from the things that could have changed your life. The secret is to treat your time like it's already scarce. Because it is. Imagine you had 24 gold coins to spend each day. Every time you say yes to something, you hand one over. At the end of the day, the coins are gone, whether you use them wisely or not. Most people spend them on things they don't even remember the next day. But the people who own their lives spend each coin with care, placing it where it will multiply. On work that matters, on relationships that inspire, on skills that last. And when you live this way, you stop feeling like time is slipping through your fingers. Instead, you feel it building into something solid, something powerful, something that belongs entirely to you. Most people live in chaos not because they lack ambition, but because they refuse to remove what doesn't matter. Their calendars are full, their minds are overloaded, and their energy is scattered across things that contribute nothing to the life they want. The truth is, you can't own your life if you allow it to be filled with the unnecessary. Every obligation, every task, every interaction either pulls you forward or holds you back. There's no in between. And yet, we cling to habits, routines, and relationships that drain us simply because we've never questioned them. Greatness requires subtraction, not just addition. It's not about doing more. It's about removing what blocks you from doing what truly matters. Take a hard look at your days. How much of your time is consumed by meaningless meetings, endless small talk, or urgent tasks that aren't urgent at all? We convince ourselves we have to do these things out of politeness, out of obligation, or because that's just how it is. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you're saying no to something that does. That's not just a scheduling problem, it's a values problem. You're telling yourself that other people's demands deserve more of your life than your own goals. And over time, that choice will crush your momentum. Eliminating the unnecessary means becoming ruthless with your focus. It means asking, before you commit to anything, does this move me closer to my vision? Does this align with the life I want? If the answer is no, it's gone. No apologies, no guilt. You are not obligated to attend every event, respond to every message, or accept every request. The world will test your boundaries. But the moment you hold firm, you'll realize that most of the noise around you isn't essential. It's just familiar. And familiarity is one of the greatest enemies of growth. It convinces you that because something has always been part of your life, it should remain part of your life. That's a lie. This is not just about time. It's about energy. There are things in your life that don't just take minutes. They take mental space, emotional bandwidth, and creative power. A single toxic conversation can drain you for hours. A meaningless task can pull your attention away from something crucial. Even physical clutter in your environment can slow you down without you realizing it. When your space, your schedule, and your mind are full of things that don't matter, you have no capacity left for the things that do. That's why cutting the unnecessary is not an act of loss. It's an act of making room for what's valuable. And don't mistake business for progress. Many people hide inside a storm of constant activity because it feels productive. They move from one task to the next without pause, filling every minute with motion. But motion is not momentum. You can run in circles all day and end up exactly where you started. The real measure of progress is not how much you do, but how much of what you do actually matters. And once you strip away the unnecessary, you'll find you can achieve more in a few focused hours than most do in an entire week. That's not an exaggeration. It's the natural result of working only on what moves the needle. The challenge is that removing the unnecessary often means disappointing people. You'll have to say no to things you used to say yes to. You'll have to step back from commitments that no longer serve you. You'll have to stop giving attention to people who take, but never give. This will feel uncomfortable at first because we've been taught to equate being available with being kind and being busy with being important. But the truth is, your value is not measured by how much you do for others at the expense of yourself. Your value is measured by how much of your life you direct toward what matters most to you. And when you finally strip away the unnecessary, you'll realize it was never making you better. It was only keeping you from becoming who you were meant to be. Most people think productivity is just about managing their time. They divide their day into neat slots on a calendar and believe that's enough. But here's the truth. Time is meaningless if you don't have the energy to use it well. You can schedule your day perfectly, but if you're drained, distracted, or sluggish, those hours are wasted. Planning your day is not just about when you do something, it's about when you're at your best to do it. You are not a machine. You have peaks and valleys, moments of sharp focus, and moments where your mind slows down. Knowing your own rhythms and aligning your most important work with your highest energy is how you turn planning into power. Think about your best days. The ones where you felt unstoppable, where everything flowed. Chances are you weren't fighting against your energy. You were working with it. Maybe your focus is razor sharp in the morning. Maybe your creativity explodes at night. Maybe you think more clearly after a workout or after some quiet time alone. These are patterns. And if you pay attention, you'll start to see them clearly. Too many people waste their prime energy hours on small, unimportant tasks. Emails, trivial calls, errands that could wait. By the time they get to the work that actually matters, their mind is already tired. The opportunity was there, but the energy was gone. The way to own your day is to guard your high energy windows and fill them only with your highest priorities. If you're most focused in the early hours, that's when you tackle your hardest, most important work. No meetings, no distractions, no quick checks on social media. If your creative energy peaks in the afternoon, block that time for projects that demand fresh ideas, not mindless busy work. This isn't just time management. It's energy alignment. It's about giving your best hours to the work that shapes your future, not the work that simply fills your day. Energy management also means being intentional about what drains you and what fuels you. The wrong foods, poor sleep, constant stress, toxic conversations, all of these quietly steal your energy before you even notice it's gone. If you're running on caffeine and willpower alone, you're not performing at your peak, you're surviving, and survival mode will never produce your best work. On the other hand, movement, proper rest, hydration, and even small mental breaks can refuel you faster than you think. When you make choices that protect and renew your energy, you multiply the value of every hour in your day. The most successful people aren't working every minute of every day. They're protecting the minutes that matter most. They know that burning out isn't a sign of dedication, it's a sign of poor strategy. If you've ever worked for hours and still felt like you got nothing done, it's because your energy was mismanaged. You were spending your mental currency on the wrong things at the wrong times. But when you design your day around your natural strengths, you get more done in less time, and you still have energy left for the things and people that matter most to you. That's not just productivity, it's sustainability. And here's the ultimate truth. When you manage your energy, you also manage your mindset. Your mental state is directly tied to how you feel physically and emotionally. When your energy is high, problems seem smaller, solutions seem clearer, and discipline feels natural. When your energy is low, even the smallest task feels impossible. If you want to show up as your best self every single day, you have to stop treating your energy as an afterthought. It's not a bonus. It's the foundation. Plan your day not just around your schedule, but around your power hours. Those moments when you are mentally sharp, emotionally steady, and physically ready. Because when you learn to control your energy, time stops controlling you. The way you close your day determines how you will enter the next one. Too many people collapse into bed, exhausted, with a mind full of unfinished thoughts and half-completed tasks. They fall asleep in mental chaos, and then they wonder why they wake up feeling behind before the day has even started. Your evening is not just the end of today, it is the foundation of tomorrow. If you end the day in disorder, you carry that disorder forward. But if you end the day with intention, you give yourself a clean slate and a head start. Reviewing your day is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Take the time to look at what you accomplished, what you didn't, and why. Most people avoid this because they're afraid of confronting what they failed to do. But facing it is the only way to improve. When you review without judgment, you turn every unfinished task into a lesson, every mistake into data. You see patterns in your own behavior. When you're most productive, when you tend to procrastinate, what triggers your distractions? This awareness is power. Without it, you're just repeating the same patterns and hoping for a different result. Once you've reviewed, you set the priorities for tomorrow before the day even begins. This single habit can change everything. It removes the wasted time and mental energy spent each morning deciding what to do first. You wake up already knowing your mission. You step into the day with momentum instead of hesitation. And because you've chosen your priorities in a calm, focused state the night before, they are far more intentional than the choices you'd make in the rush of the morning. This is how you shift from reacting to creating. Ending your day with intention also means closing open loops. These are the small, unfinished items that keep your mind running long after you've stopped working. It could be an unanswered email, a note you meant to send, a task you meant to schedule. They might seem minor, but they drain your focus like slow leaks in a tire. Every open loop you leave, unresolved, steals mental energy from tomorrow. By closing them before the day ends, you free up your mind to fully rest, which means you start the next day sharper, calmer, and ready to act. Another key part of ending with intention is protecting the final moments before sleep. What you consume, think about, and focus on in that window becomes the lens through which you view tomorrow. If your last action is scrolling through social media, comparing your life to strangers, or reading stressful news, You're programming your brain for restlessness and distraction. But if you close your day by reading something uplifting, visualizing your goals, or expressing gratitude, you prime your mind for clarity and motivation. Your brain works on what you feed it before sleep. So feed it something that moves you forward, not something that weighs you down. Finally, ending your day with intention is about ownership. It's the moment where you take responsibility for how your day unfolded and for how tomorrow will begin. You stop blaming circumstances and start designing outcomes. This mindset turns every day into a deliberate step forward instead of a random collection of hours. The small discipline of reviewing, learning, prioritizing, and preparing each night builds over time into a life that feels directed instead of chaotic. Because in the end, days don't just happen to you. You create them. And the creation starts not when you wake up, but in how you choose to close your eyes the night before. If you plan your day, you are not just making a schedule. You are declaring ownership over your life. You are refusing to drift. You are refusing to let the hours slip through your fingers unnoticed. Every day you live without a plan, life will push you where it wants you to go. But when you decide what matters, when you take control of your mornings, when you sharpen your clarity, protect your time, cut the unnecessary, align your energy, and end each day with intention, you stop living on default. Life will always try to pull you in 100 different directions. People will always demand your attention. Distractions will always tempt you. But when you choose to own your day, you choose to rise above the noise. You create a life that moves toward your vision. Deliberately, relentlessly, unapologetically. And when you stack enough intentional days together, you wake up one morning and realize you've built a life you don't need to escape from. That is the power of planning your day. That is how you own your life.